Yep, everybody a suspect. I said, y'all know what would have been better if they made it so everybody had an alibi except Willow and Nina. Because Nina just stood up here and lied like it wasn't nothing. And she was so obviously making it up on the spot. I said, now if they cameras work, because y'all know sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. They're going to be able to prove that she was lying. They're going to be able to prove it or whatever. But on today's new episode of General Hospital, we're going to start with Lulu and Martin. He wanted her to investigate and find proof that Drew was using his power for bad and prove that, he set Stella up and all this other stuff. So she was like, she can't do it if, Stella is actually guilty. She can't prove that she's innocent if she not. Ava ended up giving Christina the medication, the sleeping pills or whatever for Rick. And I was like, y'all know, I was wondering if they knew about it. I was wondering if they knew about it. Yep, they knew about it. I said, y'all just digging a further hole for y'all self, ain't it? Ain't making the situation no better. I said, Rick probably gonna end up escaping, y'all. But aside from that, Dante stopped by looking for Alexis. He ended up trying to question her about her whereabouts, and she wouldn't answer the question, which made her look kind of guilty. So she wants to use Christina and Ava as her alibi. And I said, dawg, I was hoping that Michael used Christina as his alibi because they was together at first. They was together. So now he got to go find an alibi. And that's why I said everybody should have had an alibi except Nina and Willow. Aside from that, Curtis and Jordan. They showed Curtis he drinking. Jordan showed up and he told my son, basically, I don't know, she said she got his text or what. Either way it go, I said, that's why you don't know where your wife at because you over here in your ex face. That's why you don't know she laid up and stuff. Curtis ended up telling Jordan that his marriage was over. So she over here playing along and stuff. Talking about, you sure it's over and all this other stuff. He ended up saying how he sees that he has more in common with Jordan than he does with Portia. And I said, that's because you can't stay out her face. I said, you can't stay at her face. Both of y'all wrong. You and your wife wrong. Trina and Kyle was burning evidence. Stella stopped by. She ends up telling Trina how she thinks that Curtis was the one who shot Drew or whatever. But it looked like somebody with hair. He definitely ain't got no hair. He definitely ain't got no hair. So you can rule him out. And then Chase was just trying to figure out who did it. He over here asking where Michael was. Brooklyn telling him, but she was trying to cover for Michael and stuff like that. He was like, this is serious. I said he'd rather believe it was Michael than he would Willow. And then Willow, I said she kind of acting suspicious, but at the same time, I can't tell. She acting concerned or whatever, but at the same time, she acting suspicious. I don't know how to explain it, but y'all know if y'all watch the episode. So she started trying to flip it on Nina and stuff like that. How we got to talk about them? Might as well go on here. Willow and Nina. So with them, Nina was talking to Willow, asking how she was doing, asking her if she heard anything about Drew. So Willow got to question her, asking how she knew that Drew was shot and all this other stuff. She started accusing her or whatever. Then Chase and them came to question both of them. Well, they was really trying to question Willow, and that's when Nina butted in and gave her alibi. And then Willow was like, you just gave yourself an alibi. I said, true that. She definitely did. She definitely did give herself an alibi. And I was like, see, this should have been the time that the doggone cameras were working. Tracy ended up telling Brooklyn and Michael that Drew was shot. After Brooklyn left, that's when Tracy revealed to Michael that she knows that he was there. She knows that he was there. She's seen his car. She's seen his car pull off and everything else. So I was like, okay, now I'm assuming he didn't do it. Now, I don't know if he did it or not, but I'm assuming he didn't do it. So if he didn't do it, did he see who was there as well? So, because if Tracy saw him, did he see somebody else? Look, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Like I said, everybody's suspect. And I think the last thing is that Portia and Lucas was working on Drew, and she was just thinking about everything that he put her family through and stuff like that. I said, she finna let him die. But nah, they saved him.